Hello, how you doing today? This is Scott Kidd with the Yacht Captain Investor Podcast. Today I have the pleasure of having a friend of mine, Alex Haigh of eXp Realty in Stewart. How you doing today, Alex?
Doing good, man.
Thanks for being here. For people that don't know you, just a little background, a little intro about yourself and what you're getting into.
So the brief intro, 52 years old, been in real estate now for over 20 years here in around Stewart. And so we cover all the way up from even into the Space Coast. We go down into West Palm Beach, so a pretty large area. Have a team of 6 agents on the team, 6 staff, a couple of them in the Philippines. That team has been going on for a proper team-ish, probably about 5-6 years. It became the Alex Haigh Group back in 2009 when it was just me and an idea. So been a long journey, Scott.
Well, that's really great. I mean, I know we talked briefly when we met because I was talking about I worked on yachts and you did that briefly. How did you come to the conclusion of getting into real estate and stuff? And as you've been doing for 20 years and obviously successful at it, how did that all unfold?
So there's 2 things of how it kind of unfolded. I got sick of being someone's high-paid butler. And it's a good path for some people. I was just literally with my buddy who stayed on that path, was the mate on the first boat that I worked on, and now he's a skipper on a 283-footer with 16 crew. It was just a different path. I didn't want to go that path, so I kind of saw that relatively early, that the novelty of, oh, we're going to the Bahamas this weekend, wore off to going to the Bahamas again this weekend. So when that started to wear off, like the novelty of that wore off, it started to feel like a job. The fun wasn't there anymore, man. So I started, I picked up Rich Dad, Poor Dad finally, and that really, just such a simple book. There's really a lot of layers to it outside of becoming your own boss and how you accrue well and all that. But that was kind of the start of it. And obviously Kiyosaki started in real estate. So that's where it started. I drove up to Port St. Lucie, north of Fort Lauderdale. Didn't know anybody here. Saw things kind of going a little bit crazy during 2004 and got in without knowing a single person or any background in real sales or anything.
You got in at a pretty good time. Even at that time, you went through the global financial crisis out there. How did that go for you? Was it a big grind afterward? Because a lot of people nowadays have never been through a big event like that. I mean, we've been through COVID and stuff, but that was quite a different thing where the real estate and the global financial crisis caused the downturn, whereas COVID caused the downturn before, and you had an actual real estate boom right after.
Yeah, which created a different kind of grind. There's like different grinds, I guess, if you will. That was a grind like in the 20 years that I'm doing it, we're feeling something a little bit similar right now. The difference in this right now compared to 9 through 11 is that you can still get a mortgage, and you could back then, but there was a lot of institutions that went belly up. There was banks that went belly up. So the liquidity wasn't as available. Now, the interest rates, they started to lower them, which maybe they'll do with this one, but that became a different grind because it changed so quickly, Scott. Like this feels a little slower. There's aspects of it, but that just changed like on a dime. And all the money went away. Values started dropping. It was only cash pretty much for the most part. Most of our deals, probably 80% of the deals through 2010 were cash. Then there was short sales, which nobody knew what, like even the banks didn't know what a short sale was. So they were figuring it out while we were figuring it out. Attorneys ended up coming in, being able to facilitate the short sales. I did that, back to the grind, 14-hour days. There was no CRMs. It was simply just dialing on my phone with a notepad. Faxing, scanning came in a little bit later during 2011 or so, but it was faxing 80-page hardship packages, and then the bank didn't get it. You have to resend it. You had a better chance of calling them later in the day, so you had to be at your desk 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. It was just a different kind of grind, but I'll tell you, Scott, you work on boats, like you don't have a good work ethic. I don't care kind of what market it's in, but that certainly weeded out a lot of people that didn't want to really do what it took to learn something new and to just spend that much more extra time on something.
We're talking about the global financial crisis. I know that we've discussed it before, that you said it was a grind over and over again, and I'm seeing a lot of that, especially in some of the commercial real estate where it's a grind to put a deal together, to put the capital together, put the debt together. The liquidity is there, just there's some hesitancy in the market. The deals are there, but some of the retail money is pulling back and some of the large private equity pulling back a little bit, but you're seeing a lot more deal flow and people having to be a little more creative. I think you have to kind of, now is what I would say is more of the deal maker time. If you got that thought of finding something that's good, you can make it happen. Just you're going to have to bring in probably a lot more layers. Are you seeing that in the residential market as well?
I think what we're seeing, to your point there, is creativity. Creativity is, look, if you don't have the knowledge, it's hard to be creative about making this work in different ways, right? So that's why we do the morning role plays with my team. You know, a lot of these people haven't been through this kind of thing. They don't have the knowledge or kind of to bring into their skill set of asking questions and that. So I think having knowledge is helpful, and then being able to be creative about, is there some owner financing that's potential? Like, for instance, we're doing one on a flip that I'm doing right now that we 6 months ago would have sold in a heartbeat. Now we're doing like incentives for buy downs on the rate. And so so forth. So it's getting creative, but also then having the ability, which is part of the grind, of having tough conversations with people at the signing of listings, and also then with buyers of, hey, what price does this property make sense to you? Because that question wasn't asked. It wasn't even like this pre-COVID world was like, how much are you willing to go over the asking price?
Yeah.
Are you willing to have no appraisal contingency? Are you willing to do no due diligence? There wasn't a lot of creativity in that. It was just like, what were people willing to give up to make it happen? Which has an aspect of creativity to it, but not like now.
I saw in the commercial world and multifamily spaces, how much money are you willing to put down hard day one to make this happen? And I'm glad that's kind of going away, because people have lost the money because like money's hard, and then there may not be contingencies in place because the property may not have been A level or past the mustard and stuff like that. And you're seeing, like you're saying, a lot more seller finance stuff, because one, the banks are coming with financing institutions are coming with probably 60% LTV, not 70 or 80 or even more where they were coming in the last few years. Now you're looking at bringing a lot more capital to the table to make these deals work. And it seems just with the rates in general, that also has made them less affordable, not necessarily less affordable, but less doable. You have to bring in a lot more pieces of the puzzle. Like you're saying, you have to have the knowledge, but that knowledge usually comes with experience. And you're seeing a lot of experienced people are still in the game, and a lot of the people that were inexperienced have kind of pulled back or potentially dropped out. So you're going to see a lot more of the creative A-listers still in the game, but it's going to take, seems like, are you seeing the deals take longer to put together?
Yeah, I mean, properties are staying on the market longer. The average days on the market has gone up by 30% in single family homes. Condo is higher. So you got segmented areas, price points, areas, types of property. It all is, you just have to have a lot more knowledge into that to be able to even create a situation where you're pricing something properly. Because if you're looking at 4 months ago, it's a different market than it was 2 months ago, man.
It's changing, real estate being a lag indicator. Now you're seeing that a lot more stuff is on the market a lot longer. So you're seeing more of a buyer's market come around. We'll probably see some type of price correction. And like I say, it's local. So some areas more than others, depending on, I know some areas like some parts of Dallas, they put a lot of new product on the market. So more competitive, the usual supply and demand. But what do you see, especially in the Stewart area for 2025 over the next 6 months as far as inventory?
I would say just right now, even right now, we are, depending on the price point, depending on the type of property, you're seeing above average in most, you mentioned it, actually buyer market. So what is a buyer market? It's over 6 months of inventory given absorption, right? So we're pretty much seeing that across the board now. Within the last month, single family homes went into buyer market. Now, those were in a seller's market as of 3-4 months ago. 6 months ago, you were in a buyer's market in condo. So talk about the lagging indicator. There's different areas that you're getting these lags that are kind of coming. The question I think that continues to kind of occupy my awareness is, how deep is it going to go? I'll give you an example, right? So I'm representing a waterfront property. Okay. The gentleman bought in 2022 and paid 1.92 for. We're listed right now for 1.749. And so we're taking offers. So once that sells, you mentioned something earlier. I'll actually do a side note here. Did you ever see the movie Margin Call?
I think so.
Kevin Spacey, Michael Irons. The bottom line is it all came down to this kind of really poignant thing that the dude said, who was kind of the head of the bank, and they realized they were screwed, that they were over leveraged, that what they had on their balance sheet, the requirements that they had for the leverage that they had would have basically blown up their whole company. So they were going to sell everything. It was like, we need to sell everything before anybody knows. Kevin Spacey was the head of the floor for the traders. And it was like, this is going to look like panic. Don't you know what this is going to do? This is going to look like panic. He said, it's not panic. You're the first one to the door. So that's where I think you're going to start to see this instance, right, of the one that I just outlined. He's going to sell. If he sold below what he paid for it, that resets the market. Now, what happens if he sells whatever set amount below that? That is going to reset the market for that price point and type of property. So you're talking about a luxury property, deep water access. That's been a little bit more buffered because those people don't have as much of a need to sell. So they'll just kind of hold. The inventory goes up. Prices don't drop until you start, or price is one thing, value is another thing. Price is what people are asking. And then when it sells, that's actually creates a comp, right? So once you get someone like him that sells, that resets the whole floor, because Stewart is a very kind of smaller area, but you only have a certain amount of waterfront, the kind of attributes that this kind of property has. So once this sells, which it will, it's going to reset. So basically what you've done, right, Scott, is you've wiped out from where he bought all that equity over the last 3 years. And then how far back is that going to go to, like 21? Is it going to reset prices to like 2021, 22, 2020?
Yeah, like you said, it's the value is all based on what somebody paid pays for, and then that resets the value, right? So then you're looking at a whole new ball game. Like you said, it's a new market. Just 3-4 months ago, that's something completely different. I guess I would imagine as the inventory builds, come more choices, and then the offers will probably come in a little bit lower. And it just depends on, like you said, at that price point, you don't necessarily need to sell. They might just take it back off the market. And you're seeing that sometimes with multifamily and stuff where they're able to restructure the loan where it's coming due, and they're able to kick the can down the road and deal with it next year, do a 1 or 2 year extension with the hopes that rates will be different where the banks can get a better margin, because it's not really in their best interest to really necessarily sell, because they need to loan the money out again. So if they can extend it for 2 years and they know that you can pay, then they don't care, because you're going to pay one way or the other to them.
Yeah, and to your point, the bank's going to get a little more creative with that to make that happen. In this instance, this is not a bank, right? This is somebody that already bought another property and they don't want to rent this one. My whole point is here is this is the kind of thing that you're going to either get people that hold on and wait. Maybe we'll rent it, we'll wait. But then you got other people that just, I don't want to rent it. I want to move it. There's going to become a price. We just got 2 offers on this thing. So it feels like it's going to sell. You get as much, you start to get a feel for the market. Like there's no offers. And then we literally got 3 offers at the same amount that came in the last 3 days. Now the market is speaking to us. If okay, here's where I'm at. Do I want to keep waiting? Every week is $500 plus in carrying costs. So I'm like, all right, just get me out with the money that I have in. Don't necessarily show me a return on my money. Just show me my money in return. I thought I was going to make 30, 40 grand. I'm now happy. Just get me out. Get me out. So I can then reconsolidate and then redeploy. And we learned a couple lessons on this one. But you learn lessons and hopefully you don't get hit too hard financially by learning those lessons.
You got to look at it as a paid education, not necessarily college education, but a street education. We recently had some deals that didn't necessarily go the way we planned and we lost some money and stuff, but it's just one of those old adages. It's not done till it's done. And when it's done, that's when the real work starts, because then you own the property and you have to start operating, and that's a whole different ball game. I was thinking that with everything that you're doing and everything, the training and everything else is a big part of it. Like we were speaking before we got on the call, that you do your crew training, and I was on one of those calls and I thought it was really fun. It was role playing. I thought it was really great training for a lot of people. I think it's role playing, especially when you're doing sales calls or speaking to a buyer or wholesaling, or you're even just negotiating with a bank or what have you. The exercise is really great. Share a little bit about that for us, just so we can get an idea about how that works.
Started back in the COVID world. We found a really great lead source through Google. It was a Google local service, which were call-ins, right? I had a couple agents that were really good, that could field any kind of call and be able to go out and have a high conversion ratio. But I had those calls going to pretty much every agent on the team. And we started listening to some of the calls, and I would listen to the call and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe how this person wants to buy a house and this person that's picking up the phone is 0. So I was like, man, I gotta either cut these people off or train them. So I said, okay, well, let's train them. So we started the role play, and we've been doing it now for almost 4 years straight, Monday through Friday, 8 to 9, all on Zoom. So what it does is it helps to train the team, right? LP Mama, listing, price, motivation, agent, mortgage, appointment. What are the 6 different appointments we're shooting for? Board, family, occupation, recreation, dreams, sprinkling that in to create rapport with someone. That's been great, and it's really helped people grow. It's created amazing results, especially for newer agents that just have 0 skills. So we've been doing that for all that time, and then we decided to start to do this thing called Celebrity Deathmatch on Fridays, and I get on my wrestling singlet from which you saw.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
So we kind of make it a little theatrical and fun on a Friday, but it still is, there's LP Mama in there.
I really appreciated being on there. It was really fun because I was trying to hold my face because the accent you were doing was pretty funny, and I was trying not to make it offensive, trying to make it real world scenario, but it kind of reminded me of one time when I was teaching a friend of mine that at that time he was the deckhand and he didn't know how to drive the tender. We taught him and made him do it, and myself and another guy, Steven. And then we said, okay, let's do it like in the actual charter. Then we cranked up the music really loud, and we're screaming and throwing stuff around, running all over the boat. After a couple times, he didn't even look. But later on, he told me that was great because that's how it is. It reminded me of that call that you did, because life can be pretty chaotic and you just kind of have to keep the focus and keep the purpose of the call. And your guys did really well, and then the critique was really well done too, because everyone kind of analyzed what the purpose of the call was, X, Y, and Z. And I think there needs to be more of that. I would like to see more people doing it. I've actually done some role-playing stuff on the boat as well, because it was really helpful to us. Like, you have other people do other positions on the boat, because a lot of times we get stuck in what we're doing and we don't really understand what all goes into all the other positions or the other parts of your company, and it can get some kind of animosity when people don't understand that it's a team thing, that everyone has their part, but yet we all overlap. I thought it was brilliant. It was a lot of fun. And as far as right now, what do you have going on as far as things in your office do you see moving forward? Do you see just more grinding, or things kind of opening up?
What we're working on right now, myself included, is what is essential. So this has been a great exercise for me. Anybody out there is kind of just down to like, I'm cleaning out my storage container. I'm cleaning out my garage, getting things organized. So I'm doing that with my balance sheet. I'm doing that with our lead sources. Are we using this program? Are we not using that program? It's something that I don't like to use the word should, but it's something that's been very valuable to me to just go, we're not using that because the money's not coming in like it was. Am I good? Yeah, but it's just a good business thing. And then what we're doing too is like, I used to be like this, Scott. I used to be like, well, let's go find more better leads, get a better lead for a lower cost. So I'm not just like burning everything down, but it's like, how can we make this better? So it's the top agents on the team that are putting listings under agreement, that are putting properties under agreement. They are very good at that. They're not always as good about managing what they have. So it's like, you literally, here's the lead sources, because we do a lot of tracking. Here's the 4 lead sources that you did the most amount of business last year. Focus on those. Your Sphere, the referral networks that we have, and the Google stuff. You can make the money you want to make simply from that. You got too many leads in your pipeline. Let's say it's like 500. We want to get that down to like 300, 250. So it's not necessarily adding more. It's how do we refine what we already have? And so that's one big thing. So it's continue to refine the agents to get their skills better into this new market. Also, as a corollary, help the agents that have maybe been in for like this agent I'm talking about has been in for like 4 years. So he's got a really good skill set, yet he doesn't have the skills of buyer's market. So that's where role play still does help him. So it's maximizing and creating efficiency for what we have and developing new skills in both the agents that are kind of been here for tenure and the new ones that have come on.
I like it. What I'm gathering from that, optimize by simplification. I do that periodically, and I kind of had a run of that as well. Just kind of get rid of the software that I'm not necessarily using. Some of the stuff, I don't know why I bought it, but it's there.
Yeah. And they're habits, right? It's like these childhood things that we have these habits of until we grow out of them.
These attachments that become habits, and habits become more attachments. I've recently been doing that. I've been doing that with business as well. Just like kind of slimming down. The only way you're really going to scale is if you simplify, because you can't optimize and grow while you got so many things going. You know, you 100%. Can do one at a time. It's just one of those hard lessons. Like I had a coach one time, and we came up with this thing: FOMO is causing me to mow. Fear of missing out is causing me to miss out, because I'm focusing on going after that shiny thing, and then I'm missing out on all the things. I keep saying yes to everything when I should have said no to all of it and just focused on that one thing. Because when you say yes to all those things, you're saying no to something else.
It's a balance. Like that's one of my things with like stoicism is temperance. So temperance is the balance between, hey, work hard, but also like find time to enjoy it and don't work so hard.
I know for me that I love what I do. I still love being on the boat. I still love doing that. And then I love the real estate stuff. It's opened up so many opportunities. I meet you and a lot of other people that I enjoy talking to and being around. Keeps getting better and better as it's opened more and more opportunities to meet more people, and the more people I meet, the more I can add value or help out with other people's lives and stuff. There's that other saying that if you do what you love, you don't work a day in your life. But you know, it's all work anyway, but I enjoy meeting people and talking to people. So that's just something that I think it goes in any business. It's all a relationship business. So if we can all do something together, then it makes a big difference. What does Alex do for fun?
Alex likes to golf. Golf is part of the reason I moved to Florida. I got to play in some cool spots. I got to play in Canada. I did play Valderrama when I was over in Spain, which was really cool. And I played a little bit in the Bahamas. I played in the Caymans. You know, that was over 4 years. I think I played abroad 5 times. So that's like once a year. Then I'd come back to Florida. Luckily, the skipper that I work with, we would go out and play. And then I was like, all right, I want to get into golf. I want to get into real estate so I can play more golf. I definitely played more, but then I had a habit of like, which I'm glad I did, Scott. Like I worked really hard. One of the things I did was I got kind of a rush from saving. I think some people get a rush from spending, and I do too. Don't get me wrong. Shiny objects, fun things. I saved in some things that I probably could have saved in other ways, but I didn't save in cash. So that was good. So if anybody out there, things you want to learn, I would say of like having excitement from buying an asset rather than buying liabilities.
Anything that can make a return, buying assets, I find that very exciting because it kind of opens you up for more opportunities and meeting more people. And Kiyosaki's main mantras is buy cash flowing assets. And that was one of the biggest takeaway I had from it. It's one of those things where a lesson hard learned, I should have learned much earlier, but that's okay. I learned it. And the financial, I don't want to say ignorance, but the lack of financial education is very high. And that's kind of something I'm pretty passionate about, like letting people know that I'd hate to see people walk away from a lucrative career on the boat here and they walk away with nothing after 10 years because they could have just saved their money. Even if you just save it, then you have that cushion and you can go into other things. Well, this has been really great, and I always enjoy talking to you, Alex. One last question is, how are people able to get a hold of you and want to talk to you more or reach out to you and learn more about what you're doing?
Folks that are looking to buy or sell around the country, got a great referral network. So you could just look up Alex Haigh. You'll find the Alex Haigh group. That's probably the fastest way. I got some YouTube stuff out there. My YouTube YouTube channel is living in South Florida, and we're starting a new one actually that's going to kind of be my philosophy on life. It's going to be called Alex Haigh Ways. So we're already building content around that. So stay tuned.
I look forward to checking that one out. Well, thanks again for taking the time to talk to me, and I really appreciate it. And I always enjoy your company and conversation. So we'll see you again. That's the Yacht Captain Investor Podcast out.